This is the only piece like this in the entire world, and after building it, I understand why.
Ah, damn it.
Because honestly, even this one shouldn't exist.
Oh, this is not good.
And if you think it looks pretty straightforward to make, that's okay, so did I. But this was the most technically demanding piece I've ever made.
Ow, no! Holy shit.
Like every step of it drove me to insanity. And things got so dire on this one, I had to call in the big guns.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, Mom.
What's up?
I'm gonna need help on the tree project.
Without her, this piece doesn't exist.
When's installation?
Technically tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
And it got that bad because I tripped over the starting line.
Oh, my.
At the beginning of every tree bookcase build, you kinda need a log. And my typical lumber mills don't sell things like that. Their logs are either not logs anymore or way too fucking big for this project. You just can't really buy something like that.
So I've gotta go find one. Let's go look though.
Dude, I estimated this project would take me 5 days.
Bruh.
That is ridiculous for something of this caliber. But see where you disagree with me on my thought process. So day 1, find a log, clean it up. Day 2 and 3, probably work on the shelves, get those going. Day 4, final assembly, finish the wood. Then day 5, park the bus and deliver it. Yeah, that plan ended up unraveling morning 1 of day 1.
See, it's tough because like most branches, they're too spindly with the twigs. That won't do.
I quickly learned that a tree is not a tree is not a tree. Finding our centerpiece was so difficult. The size has to be perfect. The character has to be interesting. It can't be too abstract or else it won't fit in the plane of the piece. And most intact trees that you can legally and ethically take are kind of past their prime.
Oh!
Immediately, this project had issues.
Oh, shit.
Because finally, on my second day of what was supposed to be a 2-hour search, I found our tree.
Dude, this one's sick.
Already behind schedule, we just had to get this to the shop real fast. A process that I thought would take 2 hours.
I think we can get it down pretty easily, honestly.
The property owner was stoked about me using this one because it was already dead. But I just assumed he wouldn't want me to chainsaw it and leave him a stump there forever. So I was gonna use my big brain to yank it out of the earth.
You gotta like get your hands going with the resonant frequency of the log. I know I look crazy right now, but you can feel when you're... I'm gonna crank it. Tree huggers, am I right?
Do you remember back in high school when you'd start on a project that you thought, this won't take too long? And then when you do the first step, you have that oh shit moment where you realize there might not be enough time to do this whole thing. When this tree didn't immediately go, I started getting that feeling, that panicked feeling about the rest of the entire project.
Ah, damn it.
Because if my time and difficulty estimate was this wrong on the destructive and mindless part, how off would my estimate be on the meticulous and artistic part? Damn it.
I sincerely don't know what to do. Oh, this is not good.
After a full day of literally making zero progress, I had a very brief conversation with the landlord who quickly told me I could leave him a stump, no problem. He even offered to help me cut it down because I've never used a big chainsaw before. But of course, your boy forgot to turn on his microphone while capturing one of the most iconic parts of this project. So yeah, there's no audio for this part, but I will gladly make some historically accurate sound effects. They went something like this.
Dang, that's a hell of a tree. Let's cut her on down,
Yeah,
son.
for sure. Hey, before we cut her down, let me put my safety goggles on.
Goggles? What the hell are you talking about? Just squint your eyes. The big stuff won't get in there.
Yeah, but my mom always tells me safety first, you know?
Safety goggles. That's adorable. All right, this right here's a chainsaw. You think your safety goggle wearing ass has what it takes to operate this machine?
Yeah, so we use an electric can opener at home. They're
Can
probably pretty
opener,
similar.
yeah. Okay, so down here, you know you got your carburetor.
Yeah, the
You got
carburetor.
your junction plug right
The
next to it,
junction
and you can
plug?
always switch it to turbo drive. That comes
Yeah, the
standard
turbo
on
drive.
these
Yeah,
models.
thank God it's got one.
All right, when you're ready, you just let her rip on that thing. Just hip drive right there. And let her
Oh, man, it's a little more intense than my can opener at home.
Yeah, she runs on jet fuel. Oh, one more thing. You gotta show no fear of this machine. She can sense it from a mile away. She's seen a lot of combat, you know what I mean? Just grip it and rip it. Well, why don't you just go ahead and take that right there and yeah, just go for it. This is a lot more powerful than my can opener. You're what now?
My can opener!
Hey, now don't get all worky-jerky with it. It's like carving a turkey. My God, this boy's hopeless. He'd be better off as a seamstress.
What'd you say?
You make it look seamless.
Hey, thanks, I'm not even scared.
All right, calm down, son. We can just push it over now. You can stop.
Oh, but I'm having so much fun cutting it.
Cut it. Cut it off. Come on, it's taking it too long. I got stuff to do today. You turn it. Turn it off.
Is there like a safety button?
No, it's right there. My God, son. All right, help me push this down.
Do we get to yell timber?
Golly, I'd prefer if you didn't, but if you need
You
to.
gonna yell it with me? Timber!
Timber. All right, now quiet down.
Do we get to high five after that?
Just one.
I feel like I'm almost done with the whole project now.
That's a log. You're trying to make a bookcase, son.
That's easy, just gotta get it to the shop.
This is day 4 of me trying to get this log into the shop. We've moved it somewhere around 15 feet. These are the things that have fallen off of it. Let's put these in a safe spot because I've got a very cool plan for what to do with all of these things. All right. Time to actually do it. Time to do it. I'm gonna
Unfortunately, I never got a precise weight on this bad boy, but it felt like the weight that I would rep on a bench press. So maybe like 300, 325. And that's heavy as hell, even just to move it. But remember, we have to finely and meticulously work on this
I
thing.
got a little path right there.
And if you still think this is gonna be easy, see if you have this next detail on your bingo card. I have to make this piece for a client who rents the place they live. They don't own it. So we have to build the heaviest and most structurally complicated piece I've ever made, such that it's temporary.
A lot of dirt. What is all this dirt falling? Probably the dirt. Nice little dip. Can I roll you?
With massive pieces and structural installations like this, more than 95% of the time, you're setting it into someone's home permanently so that it never moves. But when you don't have the luxury of just locking it down in place forever, or just bolting it into a wall, the design and the construction have to be incredibly clever. Otherwise, you just have a 300-pound tree that could fall over in someone's home.
Back the trailer up.
Our project was no longer an estimate on a piece of paper. That line item in the labor section, you know, finding the log and getting it back to the shop, and it was supposed to be a very fun 4 hours, turned into a grueling 3-day process. And the dichotomy between the expected difficulty and the experienced difficulty of every single step only got worse the further I got in this project.
Is it in? So we are now 4 days into a 6-day project, and all we have at this point is the log in the shop. Now what?
At this point, I only had a very rough cut at the base of my trunk, but I had to make a precise cut now. A precise cut is going to establish 3 things. Number 1, the height of your trunk. Number 2, the left and right angle of your trunk. And number 3, the forward to back angle of your trunk. Sounds easy enough, but establishing that precise cut turned out to be a real stumper. On planks of wood, you have faces and edges that you can reference as you work it. Even on live edge slabs, that broad face is a huge help as a reference. But for our amorphous log, it's almost like you have to do a lumberjack linear regression to establish a reference axis for the tree. And that's difficult enough just functionally, but also,
The other challenging part is that before I make that cut and that angle, I have to figure out which side of this is going to be broadside to the bookcase. And I don't know, because they're all really cool. Like, obviously we have this over here, but we also have this really cool feature. And that, dang, is cool too. Why couldn't those have been on the same side, dude? I'm gonna try to tape out on the ground, leaving the log where it is, what the bookshelf would look like around it. All we need to do right now is just remove the bark next to the line.
And I was proud of myself because addressing tree aesthetics and getting the tree to stand up with a precise cut was a line item on the labor section of my estimate. However, I estimated that all of that would only take 2 hours, and instead it actually took 10. Think about it like this. You would assume, and correctly so, that once you had a good clean line, making a chainsaw cut on that line would take probably 15 minutes. But the issue is that it takes hours to arrive where that line should be. 30-minute chunks would fly by, and all I did was just stand there, looking at the piece, thinking about what to do next.
I don't know what to do here.
Let's just do the simple math on this cut right here. Let's say that I rushed it, and I created a plane to cut through that was, good enough. If that cut was off 5 degrees, the top of the tree would move 9 inches. Past just looking bad, that shit would be a lot less stable.
Yeah, how heavy are you going to be now? That's still freaking heavy. Shoot. I wonder if it can stand on its own. That's phenomenal that it stands up on its own. I'm quite shocked that it is. All right, are you gonna fall? If you fall that way. That's pretty cool, dude.
And while we're here, if you dig the vibe, consider liking and subscribing. It helps a bunch. Now, back to the tree stuff. Now, you guys didn't forget about these little guys, did you?
These are the things that have fallen off of it. This guy, he'll be like right there. And this guy, he goes up there. Why don't you fit in very well? I think that's exactly where this goes.
But before I permanently connect those pieces, I need to use a disc sander to deliberately ensure they don't fit together very well. If I put those pieces back together with no gaps, you could hardly tell that the pieces even fell off in the first place and miss a golden opportunity. But if I introduce some slop in there, some space, then we can put LED lights inside of the trunk and you can see them glowing through these puzzle pieces. Accomplishing this did have its casualties.
Oops.
As I chiseled away at this, I had 2 competing sides in my brain. The artist side, who wanted to pull out all the aesthetic stops to make this one of one, and the business side that was constantly anxious about deadlines. Because no, the estimate did not include 6 hours of labor for reattaching wood chunks. And every time the artist side had a win, the business side had already lined up another problem for him to solve.
How the hell do I put this thing in there? Like, that's where it will go. What if I just kind of Frankenstein this thing?
It was incredibly difficult to do this because you had to figure out where can you place screws so that it really bites into both puzzle pieces of the wood. You also had to conceal the screw heads as best as possible. A lot of times it was really difficult to get the driver bit to actually access the screw head to keep screwing it in.
God, what a terrible noise. I'm like pushing this with my face.
And remember, the puzzle pieces don't really fit together anymore, so you have to like float them and keep them there while you're trying to drill it in and keep the space.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Holy moly. Okay, I think it's in there.
There was a little bit of dirt that I had to clear out, but I was shocked to see how unbelievably dense the wood still was, and that had its issues.
Ow. God, that's hot. Where's my smoking hot drill bit? There we are. Godspeed, little buddy. Go hit some wood on the other side. Okay, it's hitting wood. Oh yeah, it's all in there. The screws are well hidden. How robust are you? Wow, okay.
I didn't know it yet, but all the work I had done on the tree up to this point was the easiest part of the entire project. So it turns out shelves are a very important part of a tree bookcase. Without them, you kind of just have a tree, I suppose. I was able to buy 6 beautiful pecan live edge slabs from a local mill. I paid good money to have these slabs flattened and have that back live edge ripped off to be a perfect shape for my shelves. I thought it would be an easy layup, but I was wrong.
Now that I've got the materials in the shop, I actually have to build this thing. One of the harder aspects of the entire project is the fact that every single piece is just so heavy. And it feels like to do step A, steps B, C, and D already have to be done. But steps B, C, and D require A to be done before they can get going. So right now they're 12 feet long, and the 6 shelves will end up being 8 feet long, 9 feet long, 10 feet, 10 feet, 9 feet, 8 feet. And at that point, they all need to get cut in half, but it's not perfectly in half. It's wherever the tree bisects the shelf. And as you look at the tree, you see that that's not on a perfect line.
We'll worry about how to do that later, but first let's focus on the bottom one that the tree is going to actually mount to. The bottom shelf that I'm cutting is going to act as the foundation for the entire piece. The tree is going to attach to it rather than sitting on the ground. I'm doing this for 2 main reasons. Number 1, most cabinetry and bookcases have something called a toe kick. It's just a little space underneath the first shelf so that your toes can go under it and you can stand closer to the shelf. But actually go try this. Walk up to your cabinets and imagine what it would be like if your toes couldn't slide underneath that first shelf. You just couldn't get as close to the whole thing. The second reason the tree's not just gonna sit on the ground is because I need to attach it to something structural and foundational on the piece. Remember, this guy rinsed, so the piece has to be freestanding. But because he rinsed, I was also really trying to make this in a way where it can be taken apart and reassembled multiple times as he moves from place to place. I had a very slick idea to accomplish this, but attempting it only set me back further.
I officially have 2 more days to finish this entire piece. Things are dire. I've got these threaded inserts that are positioned into the bottom of our log. Matching those threaded inserts are these 5 holes right here. We've got these bolts, I don't know, and then a through hole. And if you look on the other side, you see them coming out. It's very difficult to get these guys to line up with these guys because there's a whole freaking log that I have to delicately and accurately maneuver. And so it's like, all right, you don't want to delicately and accurately maneuver the giant log. What if we delicately maneuvered the giant slab of wood?
But it turned out that I couldn't delicately maneuver either of them quite well enough to ever align the holes.
Okay, we have 1 in. Where's the hole? Am I not right there? Oh, why aren't they lining up? Dude.
So I had to scrap the entire threaded insert idea altogether. I had to go with something easy, something foolproof. So I just screwed the tree in from the top to the bottom shelf. I mean, if you make angled pilot holes, literally nothing can go wrong, right?
Ow, no! Oh my gosh. Holy shit. This little beauty is my drill bit that broke off. I don't know how I'm going to get that out of there. Holy shit.
So like every step of the way, we were constantly solving problems that weren't even supposed to be problems. All the while, the biggest, scariest problem was looming in the background and we were about to face it head on.
Oh my God. So it has come to this. This piece has to get delivered tomorrow, meaning we have to finish it today. And looking at it, that isn't gonna happen unless we bring in the big guns.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, Mom.
What's up?
I'm gonna need help on the tree project.
Like when?
You got anything going on today?
When do you need me?
How early can you be here?
I'm on my way.
Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
When's installation?
Technically tomorrow.
Oh, shit. Okay. There's a lot to be done still. Oh, my.
Now that I had a stacked roster with my mom on the team, we had to make scaffolding around the tree so that we could tackle the shelves. Each one had to sit at a specific height relative to the tree. The shelf then butts up to the tree at that cross section, and we can then shape them to naturally and organically fit the shape of the tree. In 10 minutes into the game, my mom was already making a case for herself to be MVP of the project.
Let me have it.
Sure.
You got it?
Good grief.
Nice.
You cranked that up to 11. That's fine. I don't either.
Even with a general idea of the scaffolding, it took so many more hours to dial in the exact process, but eventually we got there.
I have finally sorted out the system for getting the shelves to interface with the tree. Here are the steps.
First, we set the height of the next shelf. Using the last shelf as a reference, we screw in supports that are gonna establish where this one will sit.
Pretty good. Now we have our platform where we can put the shelf on it. But we need some shelves first. This is a 10-foot shelf, and we want to cut it somewhere near the middle, but it's not exactly in the middle because my tree leans that way, and I want the cut to be right behind the tree, not directly in the middle. But we have a pole directly in the middle, so that's our reference to know how far off of the middle we need to bang, bisect it. Here we go. And this is the central line of the entire bookcase, not the central line of the tree. I think the center line of the tree is probably like right here. That's where we need to cut the 10-foot board into 2 pieces.
With each board now bisected to where the cut will sit directly behind the tree, we slide it onto its supports, which are at the right height, but it's gonna kind of butt up against the tree unnaturally. Making them connect naturally, that's the trick, because this tree was wonky.
That's right on the knob. Is it gonna be tough?
So we'll use a beefy wire and we'll bend it to the shape of the cross section of the tree at that exact height. Now at this point I imagine a lot of people might have hit the easy button and just cut out some generic half circle that was a lot bigger than the tree so that the shelves wouldn't hit the tree. But artistically speaking, I really wanted to make each shelf extremely form-fitting to the tree. If I did that well and left very little gap between the shelves and the trunk, it would make it look as if the tree actually grew through each of these shelves and they were organically interacting with each other, rather than having like some shelves and this weird tree and it was kind of like these 2 disjointed parts of a whole piece, you know what I mean? But once I was happy with the shape of the wire, I could then move it onto my shelf and I would trace it. And the system was perfect because those shelves were sitting at the exact height that I took that cross section from, so I knew in the final piece when they butted up against that section they'd be perfectly form fit. I did flare out the shape of the cross section at the front, but this was just to make sure the shelf didn't wrap around the tree fully and then conceal it. But the shape is only just drawn on the shelf, and we have to actually create that shape. To do that, I'm just going to use a jigsaw and follow what I trace that symbolizes the cross section of the tree with that little flare out. I made sure to undercut that first pass so I didn't find myself in a situation where there was way too big of a gap between the tree and the shelf. This meant that there was a little bit of trial and error. I'd have to tweak things. I'd take the shelf back, slide it back onto its supports at the right height, trying to get it to the right position left and right. But before it got there, it would always hit the tree after just one cut. So I'd have to sketch out new lines just by eyeballing where I thought the shelf needed a little bit more room around the contour of the tree and where I thought there was already sufficient space. Then I'd take the shelf off the rack and cut off that new small sliver that we just marked. And I'd do this like 3 or 4 times, checking after every single cut, making sure I didn't go too deep. Then once I got things pretty dialed in with a jigsaw, I'd come back and do some fine shaping with a carving bit. This is where I could really smooth out and perfect the shape of my shelf so that it matched the contour of the tree. But like the previous step, this also took a lot of trial and error. I'd do some carving, I'd bring the shelf back to the tree where I'd see where it needs just a little bit more room here and there, then I'd take it back out to do more carving. And if you do any carving for any project, I would recommend a brand called Cut Saw. That's what I use. It worked really well in the super hard pecan. Then finally you'd arrive at a shape that closely matched the contour of the tree. Didn't give it too much space, but also didn't give it too little space. I'm gonna smooth things out with a disc sander rather than a random orbital sander. I think the disc sander is just a little bit more aggressive, and we still got a lot to smooth out from all the carving we did. After that, we do a very satisfying step where we remove all of the bark from this pecan slab.
Ow.
We can then once again use the disc sander to remove the remaining bark after we chiseled off the majority of it. And I would in fact recommend to remove all the bark. It's gonna fall off eventually, and so better at the shop than in the client's home. And now for the part that I realize I'm extremely lucky on. You wanna have Outer Mom, aka the Chief Sanding Officer, help to smooth down all of your shelves while she peacefully listens to a grisly true crime audiobook. And she's not nearly always in the shop. She really only comes by when I've horrifically underestimated how long a project's gonna take, while simultaneously horrifically over-promising to the client when I'll get it done. In other words, she saves my ass when I've been a bad business owner. Oh, and she has a full-time job. I just happen to get really lucky on this project and catch her on an off day. This exact situation has happened many times, but in this specific instance, I decided to ask her, do you look forward to coming and doing this? Like, do you enjoy coming into the shop and making things? And she said she did. She said it was very fulfilling and cool to come make things with her hands with her son.
Let me put that on.
As long as she got to put in her earphones and listen to fictional stories of graphic murders.
Let me put this on. I just want to see it and we can keep going. That looks so good. That's such a cool piece of wood. That's awesome. All right, let me get that back to you, then I'll work on the next one.
But we worked into the wee hours of the morning. Me shaping shelves, her sanding them, because this thing had to get finished and delivered the next day. We're talking like 8 hours from when this video was taken. And if I'm gonna be putting a finish on the most gorgeous pecan wood in the world, with any hopes of it being dry enough by tomorrow morning when it was like 2 a.m., it's gotta be Rubio Monocoat. What are you talking about, dude? The thing about pecan wood is this is not your sterile, wet noodle, no character wood. This wood just has such a personality and a story to it. And the best way to tell that story is to use some Monocoat, baby. Now with the boards finished, there were only a couple more steps to do. And I wanted to get them done that night, but unfortunately, Outer Mom was tapping out.
Alright. You sure you don't wanna stay? Bye.
We'd have to wrap it up the day of the delivery. As helpful as the scaffolding was, it was only a temporary solution to make the shelves. We now needed to switch that out for the real deal supports.
Oh yeah, dude. That's beefy. Okay, that's the testing I need to do.
We're gonna use these stainless steel tubes and put adjustable collars around them to set the height of each shelf. And the shelves just needed holes drilled in them at just the right place so they could slide over the top of the tube and come to the rest on the collars. I used this block as a drill guide to make sure that when I drilled my pilot hole into the shelves, I knew they were perfectly vertical. Then when I used my Forester Subaru Forester bit, my real holes would be also perfectly vertical, something that would not be guaranteed without using that guide hole. And while the hole in shelf pipe through hole plan worked flawlessly on paper, I was about to have some real issues in the physical world.
This is gonna be a big old moment of truth here in a second. Because right now, those poles have a lot of play in them. How's this gonna work? It's a little f***ing wobbly. I don't love that.
Maybe more shelves would stabilize it?
Oh,
And you know, I had a hunch this could happen, so I tried to prevent it by only drilling the through holes 1/16 of an inch bigger than the diameter of the pipes. Evidently, that was far too big.
Shit, dude. Oh, gosh. Literally no different. What a horrific miscalculation. I don't know what to do. I could probably benefit from a stool. This thing's busted, dude. Oh man, what the f am I gonna do? I sincerely don't know what to do. Oh, this is not good. So it's the day of the delivery installation, and this will be the first time we ever do a full dry run of putting it all
together.
So let's rip it. And of course, if we're ripping it, we're gonna have outer mom.
Now I had a few tricks up my sleeve to address the stability, the main one being that all the holes on the bottom shelf were drilled the exact diameter of the pipe so that they fit tighter. And boy howdy, they fit tighter.
Are you able to push that above your head?
I can push it some amount of space.
Remember that at this point, we had only done one stability test the day before and it went horrifically. The only thing different today, the day of the delivery, was perfect fitting holes on just the bottom shelf to try to snug up those poles.
Okay, I've lost control.
We legitimately had no idea if that new feature would even help or if I'd have to make a really awkward phone call to my client in just a second.
Wow.
Woo!
That looks great.
Wow, it's so much better. Oh my gosh, this is incredible.
I bet it's dead. Hi, sweetheart. How's it going? It's gonna work.
Maybe, hold on.
Well,
But can we
Yeah, we gotta go, but everything's good. Yeah, see ya, bye.
Like, you have to understand, this project was issue after issue. Weeks passed by where those issues were constantly on my mind, taking up so much mental space and energy well outside of working hours. And going into literally the day of delivery, I didn't know if the whole project would flop.
Look how, oh.
Okay.
Yep, you're done.
The only unknown now is how to deliver and install a 300+ pound tree.
Okay, do I need to,
Put the roller, yeah.
where?
Just right here, Mom, right here. Right here, right here. You're good, you're good.
Right here?
Most moving companies don't deliberately seek out 68-year-old mothers for their crew, but at Outer Woods, we're an equal opportunity employer.
Do not need Allen wrenches, right?
We desperately need Allen wrenches. God, I don't know how to tie knots. Nothing. Is this gonna go anywhere?
It's worth noting that my client was extremely cool in understanding this entire process. He approached me with this idea and it was so fun to bring it to life with him. Most helpful of all, he and a buddy were willing to help us move it inside his high-rise condo. But as helpful as they were, I still had to go easy on them.
Nice.
You know, encourage them.
Perfect.
After all, it was just their first day working with the tree.
Y'all good? This thing's heavy as f.
And because of that, I could only trust final installation with the All-Stars. Man, this piece was so unbelievably difficult. When I think about all the projects that I've ever done, this one 100% takes the cake for the one that has the largest disparity between how easy I thought it was going to be and how hard it actually turned out to be. Again, I thought it was going to be 5 straightforward days.
That feels fantastic.
Day 1, getting the tree into the shop, working on it a little bit.
Ah, damn it.
Day 2, day 3, getting the shelves, working on those. Day 4, we're gonna be finishing everything, assembling everything.
Oh no!
And day 5, delivery.
Absolutely.
There are 4 reasons why pieces like this are so unbelievably rare.
This looks so cool already.
Number 1, trees like this are extremely hard to find.
That's so good.
Seriously, go try to find one that's the right size, has interesting aesthetics, is contained in a reasonable plane for shelves, has solid and dense wood, and is legally and ethically good to harvest. I'm telling you, it's tough. Number 2, no one has an instruction manual for this build. It's not like a river table or cabinets where there are thousands of videos online. Every single step presented new challenges that at times seemed insurmountable to figure out. I mean, maybe this video now counts as a guide, and luckily I also made a document on Patreon that shows my process. Like, believe me when I say there was a lot of technical info that I just couldn't fit into this video. We've got other behind the scenes and extras on Patreon too, but all the support there helps us to keep making projects and videos like this. But back to why this piece is so rare. Number 3, the economics of this one didn't quite make sense. And that's no knock on my client. I genuinely didn't know how long it would take, but to build a business only by making these types of pieces, it would either need to take like 1/2 to 1/3 of the build time, or you'd have to be able to charge 2 or 3x what I did. Both of those seem out of reach. And number 4, most importantly, there is only one outer mom to go around.
I'm not doing anything.
No, I know.
And I don't know if she's taking on too many of these projects right now. Instead, she's currently got a jade plant that needs tending to, and true crime audiobooks won't listen to themselves.
Okay, can I do anything? Lift from the bottom?
It's a cool piece.
And to be painfully honest, as much as I'd like to pretend like I'm a big dog woodworker and a shrewd business owner, the number of times her and my dad have had to come in to save my ass on a project,
Okay, we're up.
that I've overpromised timelines and underestimated my abilities, I mean, it would take both hands to count. And we're not talking table saw accident hands, we're talking saw stop hands.
It's got a lot more stable. Yeah. This is so cool.
And as much as we were stoked about how it looked, it's even sweeter to hear that sentiment from its new owner.
Oh, this looks so good.
It is so cool.
And when people ask who the real MVP of the project was,
That's super cool.
I'll just keep my mouth shut and let her introduce herself.
Hi, Mom.
Rest assured, if my mom didn't sub in on this one, there would undoubtedly be one fewer tree bookcases in the world. And that'd be a damn shame, because this piece truly was one of one. But yeah, what do you guys think? Did you like the build? Did you like the video? Let us know in the comments what we could do differently next time, ways we could expand this idea, you know, let us hear it. And as always, we gotta give a huge shout out and a thank you to our Patreon members and our YouTube members. Without you guys, none of this is possible, especially Brooks B as an old growth supporter. And we will see you guys next time for our next build. You won't wanna miss it.